A very good morning to all. In the previous class, we discussed that India had a long history of contact with distant lands in different ways, and one of the way was through trading. And the traders within India and outside India, they used different sea routes to trade, and many of the ports were located on the western coast of India and eastern coast of India. That is, in the west in the Arabian Sea and in the east in Bay of Bengal. So, many ports were located on the western coast of India and eastern coast of India. As you can see, some of the important ports are Brigukacha, Sopara in the western coast of India, and Arikamed, Kaveripatnam and Tamralitti in the eastern coast of India. And among these ports, Brigukacha is one of the important and prosperous one. Prosperous means the successful one. And during this period, the Indians, they mostly traded with the Roman Empire. And here, the Roman Emperor Augustus Caesar, he even set out an expedition to India. And the Roman navigator named Hippalus, he travelled across the sea using the monsoon winds. And this knowledge of monsoon wind helped in expansion of trade. And the Indian traders also found routes to Southeast Asia and Sri Lanka. And as a result of this, Indian colonies were set up in Southeast Asia and Sri Lanka. Now next, let's discuss about the Indo-Roman trade links. And you all know that the Indians mostly traded with the Roman Empire, and many things were exported from India to Roman Empire. And in return, the Romans, they paid the Indian traders with gold coins. This can be proved by the discovery of gold coins at various sites in Indian peninsula such as Arikamed. And here the archaeologists, they have found other goods that are not of Indian origin such as pottery, gold, silver coins. And in the literary sources such as Sangam literature, Ptolemy's geography, the Peripheras of Erythraean Sea contains the list of Indian ports and the list of Indian goods that were imported and exported from India. So, this was about Indo-Roman trade links. Now, next let's discuss about the Silk Route. Now, this route was one of the famous route, and during this period the Chinese silk was very famous among the Romans, and the traders, they exported or transported these Chinese silk and Chinese products from China to Rome, and they used a land route which was known as Silk Route. As you can see here, the Silk Route is marked in red color. So, the land trade routes that the traders used to carry or transport the Chinese products from China to Western Asia is known as the Silk Route. And this route was very risky and dangerous because they had to pass through huge mountains and deserts. And the Indian kings who had their kingdoms adjacent to this Silk Route, they started to tax the traders because they had to cross their kingdom. And in return, the Indian kings gave them security, that means protection from robbers and bandits. So, this was about the Silk Route. And within India also, there were many land routes which were extensively used by the traders, and they were known as Uttarapatha, that is in the north, and the Dakshinapatha, which is located in the south. And here the land routes into the Deccan and South India, they were mostly used by the Jain monks and Buddhist monks to spread the religious belief, as well as it was used by the traders. And in the previous class, we have discussed that the Satvahana kings were very much interested in encouraging the trade, and they called themselves the Lord of Dakshinapatha. And the Indian traders, they valued this Dakshinapatha route because they supplied gold, silver, precious stones and spices. So, this was about the Uttarapatha and Dakshinapatha land routes in India. Next, let's discuss about the spread of Buddhism. So, during that period, King Kanishka, who was the king from the Kushana dynasty, was a follower of Buddha. And during his rule, the 4th Buddhist Council was held and many decisions were taken regarding the teachings of Buddha, which was not liked by a section of people. And as a result of this, Buddhism was divided into 2 groups, that is Hinayana or the lesser vehicle. Next one is the Mahayana or the greater vehicle. And here in the Hinayana group, they regarded Buddha as a great soul, as a great teacher, and they did not worship Buddha as God. But in Mahayana, the Buddhists, they believed that Buddha was a god because he is eternal. So this was about the 2 groups, that is Hinayana and the Mahayana. And here the Buddhist monks, they traveled to various countries like India, Sri Lanka, Central Asia, Southeast Asia, China, Japan, Burma, Thailand, Indonesia and so on. And even the Chinese scholars, they traveled to India as pilgrims. So pilgrim is a person who traveled to several sacred places for religious reasons. And one of the Chinese pilgrim was Faxian, and he traveled to India in the beginning of the 4th century and collected the sacred books which were taken to China. So this was about the spread of Buddhism. Next, let's discuss about Augustus Caesar. Augustus Caesar was known as Octavian and he was the nephew of Julius Caesar, and he declared himself as the princeps or the great ruler in 27 BCE, and he ended up the 400 years of republican rule in Rome. And the Roman Empire was so powerful that the Mediterranean Sea became a Roman lake, and the society was divided into 2 groups, that is the patricians, second one is plebeians. So here the patricians, it consisted of rich people who were addicted to the good things of life, and they lived in cities. They also had the military and political power, and it was because of the demand of these luxury items that the trade was very important in Rome. And the second group was the plebeians. It consisted of common people. So this was about Augustus Caesar in ancient Rome. Now here you have an activity. The question is, read the analyzing sources of history about the Nalanda University of Buddhism by Shansung, a Chinese monk and a scholar. And then you have to answer the following questions. The questions are, the first one, does the above description of Nalanda University remind you of modern day university in India? Second question is, list some of the similarities and differences between the Nalanda University and modern day universities. So this answer you have to write it in your notebook and submit in Teams. That's all for today. We'll meet in the next class. Thank you.